Welcome, Denise.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Like Wildner already said, my name is Denise. I'm a UX designer at SAP Hybris. And today I want to share my experience with you about Lean UX. And Lean UX is actually a new teamwork approach for the agile environment. That means UX designer and developer need to work closer together to deliver the best user experience for the user. And and therefore Lean UX helps with that. So Diana already asked if someone has experience. If you have experience, I'm happy to hear that afterwards, because I think everyone has different experiences as well. But I just get started. So first of all, I want to talk about the evolution of the teamwork, how designers and development teams are working together. And then I want to dive into the Lean UX process and tell you a little bit about that, and as well how we are doing it at our company. And then in the end, just as a wrap up, how you could integrate it in your company if you're interested. So let's have a look at the evolution of teamwork. Not long ago, there was this process called waterfall. And some companies are still using it. And what does waterfall mean? So there is a requirement engineer who is writing all the requirements, all the specifications. Then all these requirements got handed over to the design. So, and when the requirements were set, the timeline was set as well. So the designer started doing his design and everything, and then this was handed over to development. So everyone was working in silos, and no one talked with each other. And then in the end, the developer had the problem that often the timeline was too tight, and things were not feasible like the designer wanted to have it because of technical issues, or a designer, you know designers, right? They want to have everything changed and all the time. So so there was this one-way communication. And then in 2001, some smart people came up with the idea of agile. And with agile, they wanted to speed up the whole development process so that we can go with the product to market faster. So, and actually the Agile Manifesto consists of 12 principles, but here I just want to point out the most important things compared to waterfall. So what's new with Agile is that people should communicate and cooperate. So all the team members which are interacting with each other should actually talk with each other. And the other thing is that requirements can change as well. So this is kind of what's meant with close daily cooperation and face-to-face communication. So let's have a look at Scrum, which is the most common agile framework. And in Scrum, you have different roles. You have product owner, PO, the Scrum Master, and the so-called specialist. And in the book, it's not really mentioned who are these specialists, so it can be everyone. It can be developers, technical writers, UX designers. As it says, front-end developers and UX designers are also part of it. It's not only about back-end developers. A lot of people think it's only a team of back-end developers and that's it. And still, the UX designer is perceived as a bottleneck who's slowing down the development process. And why actually is that so? First of all, it's a problem of understanding each other. So designers have different language as developers have. So first of all, when I first joined an IT company, they were talking about APIs and data centers and authentication and things, and I was kind of, oh, nice, but I didn't know what they were talking about, and it's kind of the other way around as well. And when you're not talking the same language, explaining can be hard. And sometimes it must have looked like this for the counterpart. The next thing why UX is a bottleneck is the old patterns. So the thing is, Mike Cohn, he's a quite famous Scrum Master, he said that a designer needs to be in the sprint but as well looking ahead. So the thing is, a UX designer is working with the development team. If they have questions on their designs, on the UI, they can go to him or her and ask them what did you mean with that and things like that. And here requirements can always change. So you're always working along with the development team. But then there is the PO and you want to refine the backlog, which is really important because you want to know what to do next sprint. So sometimes the designer has to provide wireframes as well for the next sprint up front. And this is something where then it slows down the whole process because the designer says, oh, I need to finish that, I cannot help you. And the next thing is time. Because of this kind of working on other things as well, and sometimes there is the manager and the stakeholders, they are even asking for a more detailed design. So if you have only one designer at the team, you're kind of screwed sometimes. So the outcome is the developer is sad because he cannot provide the things he wanted to release. The manager is sad, and the development process is slowed down again. There is some things which try to solve those issues. You might all know these are the living style guides and the UI frameworks. So kind of what with the living style guide, the most important principles are written down, such as bootstrap, for example, you might know, or what I'm telling you. So and then UI frameworks like Fiori, for example, we have in SAP, and these are guidelines the developer can stick to as long as things can be implemented with these guidelines. So they don't need any designer, so they can say, okay, I can put this, select two drop-down thingy, and just put it there and it will be good. Another thing is to improve the whole process is this Lean UX. And Lean UX is coined in 2011 by this guy. His name is Jeff Gotthelf, and he used to be an information architect and UX designer, and he was facing all those issues I just mentioned. So what actually is Lean UX? Lean UX is not something new, it's just a blend of 3 existing approaches, which is design thinking, lean startup, and agile development. So what does that mean for the Scrum team? The Scrum team stays totally the same. The only thing is that the team, or he proposes that the team is co-located and cross-functional and really highly collaborative. But as I said, we are doing that in my company as well, and we have 3 developers in Poland. So the co-location doesn't work for us, but we found a workaround to do this Lean UX anyway. So this is kind of with Scrum. I think every company does its own kind of Scrum. It's not like following the book. So the Lean UX thing starts with a problem definition. And this is something quite new, because you don't focus on the feature, you're focusing on the outcome. What does that mean? So, for example, a manager demands, we need a new sign-up form, no one is registering at our website. And then the team saying, maybe people do not register because they don't find the sign-up form, or it's something else. It's not not focusing on the feature, but we want to know what is the user struggling with. And the outcome can be something totally different. So, in the end, we don't know what the outcome will be. And this is something challenging for the management, at least, because they don't know what to expect from the team. So, what is the team doing? So the team sits together and tries to find out what the customer may need. And yeah, again, it's not the manager who's defining what the team will be working on, but the team itself. And how does it look like? So for example, this is kind of from the design thinking approach. We are collecting ideas, and everyone can put the post-it on the whiteboard and telling about their ideas. And you shouldn't limit yourself to only feasible ideas, but you can come up with everything. And then if everyone likes it, because you're voting on that, then you can decide, or you can think about how could we achieve that. And yeah, this is another approach. You can do whiteboard sketching and doodling and all those fun stuff. And this actually works with the distributed team as well, because for example in WebEx you have a whiteboard and everyone can, you will learn to draw with the mouse, but it's feasible. So after you have found the thing you want to do, you are creating a minimal viable product and you test it. So the minimal viable product allows the team to collect the maximum amount of feedback from the customer with the least effort. And again, it shouldn't be wasting too much time for design. You always have to tell your designer, not going overhead. Sometimes it just it's enough to have just a paper prototype, and if you have customers nearby, you can just approach them and show them, here, what do you think about that? But sometimes you can do a prototype out of your framework library, and just use that which best serves your assumption. And yeah, and don't put too much detail in that. From the design thinking, you say don't fall in love with your prototype, because the customer could say, no, I don't like it, and then you're saying there, oh, okay, but it was so nice. Okay, and then, which is really interesting in Lean UX, every one of the team is doing user testing, and the rule of thumb is 3-12-1. So you're bringing in 3 users at 12 noon, and you do that every week. So you need to find a kind of a workaround to have 3 users at almost the same time, and everyone can test with them and with the prototype. And even a backend developer would ask the people, so that you really, the whole team has the same understanding of your user persona. Because sometimes it can be really surprising. You think, oh, it's all clear, and then the user says, no, I don't understand it, for example. And this is kind of really high-end user testing. This is a qualitative testing we did via WebEx, where we have the user with the camera, and he has certain tasks to perform. And after you have collected the findings, you sometimes need to iterate your prototype, you pivot or you proceed, and this is kind of the idea from the Lean Startup. So then you will review and adjust, and then you will repeat the prototyping and the user testing again until you find the solution which would fit best. And as everyone at this point has the same understanding of the product and of the user, you could start the sprint all at once. So the developer would start developing his backend code, and the designer could then start making nice buttons, and even UI developers, they can already mock the whole UI and just then apply it to the product. So yeah, it says that Lean UX is the evolution of user experience, and it's just a new way to think about software management. And just to say, maybe some of you will wonder, because this sounds really like a lot of work, and we are actually doing it almost every week or every sprint. So the sprints are two weeks, and we are just meeting together for 1 hour in the team, like via WebEx, for example, and then we are brainstorming and coming out, and if we need a follow-up, then we do a follow-up. But this is because we are already in a product and we're just iterating. If you're developing a new product, then you need to spend more time, at least probably a week or more, but then it's fine, because you know where you're going to and that your user will like it, and not developing something no one will like. So how could you integrate this linear X process into your company? It actually needs an organizational shift like Scrum or Agile, because the mindset of the management and the customer needs to change. So the manager needs to know that he doesn't get a feature list. He knows that he will get something in the end, which will be fine and user will like, but he will not get the feature list up front. And as well, the design will not be there at front as well. And for the developer and as well for the designer, it means proactively communicate like you do already with Agile, focus on the outcome and focus on your user persona and generate ideas together. And always keep the user in mind, always. And yeah, how to deliver great products, it's just about collaboration, listening to each other as well. Experiment, try it out. You don't have to do it like in the book. You can just tell your colleagues, oh, I heard something, let's just try it. And then integrate it to your company. That was it. Thank you. Any questions?
I guess we could have 2 maximum questions. So, yeah, the first one.
No. There's only 2. I don't want to take them.
Yeah, someone else?
You can ask me afterwards as well.
Yeah, you can as well. Questions.
No, I want to ask it now.
Okay.
About this process and integrating it in the company. How do you keep it working? How do you monitor it? Is it mostly human-to-human interaction and controlling each other, or there are some tools or some software or some defined process to maintain this, not to turn it step by step into normal waterfall? How do you keep it healthy?
Yeah, actually we are only like doing it via talking to people, and we are only doing it in our team, so it's not kind of spread across the whole company yet. We're just trying it out ourselves. But it says as well that, for example, support teams, they should know upfront what you're up to, because otherwise they cannot support if something is broken or the user complains. And so I think it's a continuous communication with everyone involved.
Thank you.
May I ask how big the company you are working in is?
So SAP is about 80,000 employees, but SAP Hybrid in Munich is how much? 400 maybe?
400 people. It's a company acquired by SAP 3 years ago, so it was Hybrid, and then it's now SAP Hybrid, but it's still like a child within the huge monopoly. So it's
how do you handle the? There is marketing, I guess, and CI guidelines and stuff like that. And if you put out a product that doesn't match CI in this huge company, do you have the back of your manager that the manager will talk to the manager's manager of the marketing department?
Yes.
This is totally fine?
Yes, so we are not messing with the corporate identity. So we are sticking to corporate design and everything as well. We are not changing the cancel save button the other way around just because we think the user. So this is kind of their constraints we are living in. So maybe this is why it works kind of smoothly and we can do it fast. But yeah, the manager should be aware and he should be fighting for his product and talking with the other managers as well. But as we are now working on a new product, which is kind of starting small, we know all the people we are working with, and so it's kind of easy.
Only 3 years. And I want to, there is a difference between UI and UX. So you don't need to revert everything you have done before. If you have some patterns, you have some style guides, you can still follow it, but you just need to achieve the best user experience. And this, as Denise said, it doesn't have anything much to do with the global user interface of the company or something like this. It's mainly to make it usable as much as possible.
Actually, that was my question. So my question was, from what I understand of the subject, it's not necessary that the organization be going through a shift. So you could integrate it in a sort of like a little bubble. So your management or high-level management is still looking at this is what we want. It's just that the little engine inside is going through this lean process of iterating through all of the steps and identifying problems earlier in the process.
Yes.
And optimizing the result. So
and with us, the teams are free to decide what they want to work on. So they have a kind of a roadmap what they need to achieve till end of the year. So we are having this waterfall-like thing, but you're still in this time frame. You're free to try things out and come up with new ideas, and then it's fine. If it works, then it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.